You know, it's a pretty impressive list of the 60 inhabitants. And I can't imagine anyone that's more deserving of something like this. It's had to be a cut and dry decision who was going to get this award this year, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I'm a big supporter of VTAC. Businessman, I always have been the last 16, 17 years. One of the most wonderful organizations. See the work they do, and so on behalf of the city of Burbank, I have a mayor's commendation for you. But more importantly, you can always count on my support so long as I'm in the city of Burbank. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary. Next, I'd like to call up our city manager, Mr. Michael Flatt.
Yes, ma'am. A little tired for me. Thank you, everybody, for staying, and thank you, everybody, for coming to honor Barbara. But especially thank you to you, Barbara, for all the tremendous work you do every single day. You are just truly one of those behind-the-scenes people in our community that you can just tell by how shocked you are, how surprised you are, how overwhelmed you are today. And it's good to see it. But I will say, I watched her during the entire video. She cried the hardest when you were showing the baby pictures. I think maybe more tears of embarrassment.
Yeah.
So, but I always have to say just a couple of words. I actually met you for the first time during your interview for the VTAC position just over 5 years ago. And Michael Walbrook said, we should not hire her. I begged, though, that that's not how it went. You know, when you interview people, there's people that have certain skill sets, and we're looking for, obviously, a skill set of someone that can run a small nonprofit, somebody that can roll up the sleeves. But as other executives and nonprofits know, it's a very difficult role because in the city we're responsible for providing many services, but we're not tasked typically to do the fundraising at the same time. And the role of a CEO is very difficult, especially for a small nonprofit like VTAC, because you are charged with being a cheerleader. You are charged with trying to deliver services through almost completely volunteer folks, which makes it that much tougher. You're in charge of marketing. You're in charge of doing the books. You're in charge of day-to-day operations. And you just have done just such a tremendous job across the board in providing just the highest level of service and truly taking VTAC to the next level. And your experience was in Easter Seals and with cancer. And there was something about your interview, and it comes true in that video, and it's just true to who you are, and it's just you have a heart of gold. There is nobody that you know that meets you, that knows you, that isn't touched or left a better person because of you. And this is a room of people that just absolutely love you to death, me included. We love your mom. Thanks for making her do work. Thank you for coming here from Utah and Colorado and for settling in Burbank. And I was asked to say a few words, but then I didn't get a fancy proclamation or anything to give. But I have something very special, very unique, which was created about 6 minutes ago, just for you. Where's Margarita? First City Seal had. Oh, it's all right. Put it in here. It's okay. First City Seal had a cantaloupe on it, as you know. And so we used to give out the key to the city, budget times, budget cuts. Council put an end to that. So now we give out the official city cantaloupe. Congratulations, Barbara, signed by the mayor, the vice mayor, and council member.
No gift is too big for Barbara. So when we were looking for who should come up and speak about Barbara, we looked around and we really looked no further than Michael Walbrook. I asked him to come up to talk a little bit about his interactions with Barbara. Michael is the Vice President of Studio and Production Affairs at Warner Brothers, as well as the current Chairman of the BTAC Board of Directors.
Good afternoon, everyone. Usually I ramble extemporaneously, but today I actually wrote something down for you. My day job's at Warner Brothers, but I'm here today in my capacity as the chair of the BTAC Board of Directors. Over the last 5 years, BTAC's made a near miraculous nonprofit turnaround under the leadership of Barbara Howell as our executive director. So I'll give you a little bit of background, I think it's helpful. At the end of 2003, BTAC had seen 3 executive directors in as many years come and go from our organization. We clearly weren't doing something right. We were enduring criticism in the press, eroding goodwill with those in the community who provided our support. We were relying on a very capable staff like Stacy Schumacher and Edward Stapleton to help us function on a day-to-day basis each time we lost an executive director. But with an absence of a long-term vision, without good reason to believe that the next day would be better and more purposeful in the future, it seemed that at some point even the staff would probably wash their hands of us, and we would have lost them too. So at that time, the board of directors decided it was time to reevaluate our approach to the executive director at BTAC. BTAC had been around 30 years at that point, and had grown from a small, well-meaning operation working out of someone's garage, literally when we started, to a central position in the community, helping homeless and low-income clients each month with a variety of services. So we decided the next ED had to reflect that transition that the organization was making, while respecting and relying upon that foundation that BTAC had started 30 years before. We decided very critically that the next executive director must be someone with solid experience in managing a nonprofit. So somebody who had actually done something before like that. We needed someone who made their career in succeeding despite having limited resources at their disposal. Someone who could build upon the good work that BTAC had started 30 years before. Someone who could lead us, someone who could bring us stability, repair a damaged reputation, and position us to offer better services for those most in need in Burbank. It was a tall order, to say the least. Well, we occasionally find that if the stars align correctly, your prayers are answered, and we got Barbara. We had a great staff, dedicated volunteers, an earnest board, and a deep commitment to our mission. We just needed someone to come in and pull us all together. We needed a professional who would not be daunted by what had come before. Barbara came to us in early 2004 with exactly the background we were looking for, and the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. My biggest hurdle, and you heard it on video, my biggest hurdle was showing Barbara around the old BTAC facility. This is 2 years before we had our new building. As some of you might recall, the previous incarnation was a small storefront in Burbank, on Burbank Boulevard, with a tiny old house in the back, with some old sheds. And as I was leading her around these dilapidated surroundings, tattered tarps covering the outdoor area, and the back house out of what looked like something out of a B-rated horror film. I thought I could read the look in her eyes and say, oh, what have I got myself into? And how can I gracefully get out of it? The best I could do was show her the architectural drawings of the new building, promise her we were working as hard as she could to make it a reality. And to my surprise, at the end of the tour, she just smiled at me, and with a sense of confidence that I don't even know if she had, she just said, "Not to worry, we can make this work." And I said, "Okay." She provided some reassurance, like a good leader, she provided some reassurance.